I actually do want to see more about what he was all about, right? Because the average person, if they had a physical confrontation with ICE 1 week earlier in which 5 guards were all over you and you broke a rib, would not go back out there, but this time with a loaded gun. And now there's reporting about how he was part of this group that knew where ICE was. They were tracking them, we believe, in a Signal chat. Andy No tweeting this out, that Signal chat logs show a user stalking federal agents with guidance and instruction from other far-left insurgents, matching details of Alex Pretti. Andy linked to research done by an X account called Oversight Project, no link to the House Oversight Project, but it's a legal watchdog group that looks into things like this. And what they report is that Alex Pretti appears, they're not totally sure, they can't be without having the metadata and all that, but he appears to have been on this Signal messaging chain that's marked leave chat, delete chat, where anti-ICE activists directed resources to the place where Alex Pretti went and was shot. We've ID'd a user, they write, Alvin Q, who may have been Pretti. They write that in this chat, coordinators like user Salacious B. Crumb spot and direct resources to thwart ICE's enforcement efforts. They dox and follow ICE vehicles. At 8:47 a.m. Central Time, user Alvin Q responds to Salacious B. Crumb that he will, quote, update on the location of a suspected ICE vehicle that's about 8 blocks away from where the shooting would occur 15 minutes later. The name Alvin Q matches the alias Alvin Q Pretti, which, from breach data, Alex Pretti used for a Twitter account he appears to have created in 2016. The Signal user also has a medic emoji. The name Alvin Q matches the alias Alvin Q Pretti. And then in the minutes leading up to the shooting, Salacious B. Crumb directs other users to go to the location where the shooting would occur. Multiple agents now entering Glam Doll Donuts. Backup needed. One activist inside of the donut shop shares a video of the shop owners locking ICE out. One of the offers featured in the video, wearing a gray coat, appears to have been involved in the attempted arrest of Pretti. At 9:02 a.m., the Signal chat first makes mention of possible shots fired. The user Alvin Q does not reappear in the chat. They say, to be clear, we're not asserting that Pretti is confirmed to be Alvin Q, but we analyze data in real time and are releasing our analysis because of the value to the public and having all info available. This looks like proof that indeed Alvin Pretti was part of an anti-ICE agitation group that was stalking the officers, harassing the officers, finding out exactly where they were, part of this group that tried to impede their ability to make lawful arrests. And again, somebody whose gamble that he could get away with all of that did not pan out for him.
They're also doing this organization, if you're looking at some of these leaked messages, as you just showed on the screen, they're doing this without knowing the backgrounds of the suspects or the people who ICE is looking to ascertain or to apprehend, is the correct word. So they don't know if they're protecting a sex offender. They don't know if they're protecting somebody who could potentially be violent, somebody who does not belong on the streets of Minneapolis. And also, it's just a very dangerous situation for everybody involved. I know you've talked a lot about the whistles, but like the whistles and the honking, I'm not saying that, like, I'm not weighing in on the legality of that, but just saying that these activists are putting their own people in jeopardy when officers can't hear each other and they're armed, and some of the protesters are armed, which I think is fine. But that said, when the officers can't hear and communicate with each other clearly, and there's a deliberate chaos that's created in order to prevent them from going into Glam Doll Donuts and apprehending someone who you don't know whether or not they are someone you'd want in your own community, then it's just really, really dangerous all around. Dangerous for the people who are doing it too, who probably would hate both of us, Megyn, but I don't want them to be in these unnecessarily unsafe situations either.
Mm-hmm. The mania that all this is causing is something I don't know how these people bounce back from, like, the true craziness that it's causing amongst a pocket of the left that's, calling Stephen Miller Himmler, that crowd. They're represented across America, and as Jesse Kelly had accurately predicted many times, it seems like some 30% of them at least are nurses, which is really deeply disturbing. So we have an update first for you on a nurse at VCU down in Virginia and Richmond yesterday who said the following, which was true insanity in SOT 13.
Sabotage tactic, or at least scare tactic. All the medical providers, grab some syringes with needles on the end. Have them full of saline or succinylcholine, whatever. That will probably be a deterrent. For today's resistance tip, I vote, anybody got any poison ivy, poison oak in their yard? Get some of that up with gloves, obviously. Get it in some water. Get the poison ivy oak water, and I'm gonna put it into a water gun. Aim for faces, hands. All right, the single ladies where these ICE guys are going, get on Tinder, get on Hinge, find these guys. They're around. They're an ICE agent, bring some X-Lax and put it in their drinks. Get them sick. Nobody's gonna die. Just enough to incapacitate them, get them off the street for the next day. Let's make their lives fucking miserable.
You're a sick person, Melinda Cook. When we left air yesterday, Emily, VCU said that she was placed on leave while they investigated. We said, what is there to investigate? She's on camera. It's very clear that she's ready to hurt ICE agents, despite her obligation to heal people and not hurt them, that she actually is talking about using drugs you get in the hospital like succinyl choline and misusing them in order to hurt ICE and Border Patrol. I mean, this is a fucking sick person. And sure enough, before the day was closed, there was a statement issued by VCU Health. Following an investigation, the individual involved in the social media videos is no longer employed by VCU Health. In addition, VCU Health has fulfilled its reporting requirements under Virginia state law, which I believe means that they went to the licensing board to alert them. Libs of TikTok, which broke the story, Chaya Reichik asked accurately underneath their post, "Thank you. Are you doing a review of all of her cases and deaths that occurred under her care?" Which is a chilling but important question I hadn't even considered for these crazy ass nurses. It's a great question. I really hope that they answer it and that the answer is yes. Secondly, there was this nurse. She's out of Florida. Her name is Lexi Lawler. And she had the following. It's disgusting. Forgive me, but it's news. Following wish for the now pregnant with her second child, Caroline Levitt, in SOT 12.
As a labor and delivery nurse, it gives me great joy to wish Caroline Levitt a 4th degree tear. I hope that you fucking rip from bow to stern and never shit normally again, you cunt.
All right, so this is a very sick person as well. She's also a nurse, and she's been fired, which is great. And today, the Attorney General in Florida just announced that she is no longer allowed to practice nursing in the state of Florida. Making statements, he writes, that wish pain and suffering on anyone, when those statements are directly related to one's practice, is an ethical red line we should not cross. I'm proud of the Florida Surgeon General for taking this decisive action. I'm sorry, but this had to be done. It had to be done, Emily, because how can any Republican or right-leaning person go into a facility and encounter a Lexi Lawler or a Melinda Cook who are actively talking about hurting people on the right or wishing devastating pain and injury on them and feel comfortable in their care?
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things that reminds me of the classic cancel culture line of, well, you want this professor to be censored or whatever. It's like, well, no, I don't want professors to be censored. But if they're saying that kids who supported Trump should have consequences or be hurt in one way or whatever, you're creating a bad classroom environment. So you should be able to say whatever you want as long as it's not like actually causing harm to your students. I'm not talking about psychological harm, but I'm talking about like potentials for
no, they don't work at the library
checking
out books.
No. No, they're nurses, and it just reminds me of the conversation that you had with Jesse Kelly. What was it, last week or the week before, where he caught me off guard because he's usually so hostile and aggressive, and he said, I genuinely feel bad for a lot of these women, because if you think of why people go into nursing, I mean, it's a great career, but for so many women, it's because they have this instinct to nurture and care for others. And I think when you're putting this stuff out on social media, it just reflects a very, very deep instability.
A new year means new financial goals, like making sure your savings are secure and diversified. Will this be the year you decide to talk to someone from Birch Gold Group? They use an educational approach with a deep understanding of macroeconomics. There are forces pushing the dollar lower and gold higher, which is why they believe every American should own physical gold. So until January 30th, if you're a first-time gold buyer, Birch Gold is offering a rebate of up to $10,000 on qualifying purchases. To claim eligibility and start the process, just text MK to the number 989898. Birch Gold can help you roll an existing IRA or 401k into an IRA in gold, and you are still eligible for a rebate of up to $10,000. Consider making right now your first time to buy gold and take advantage of a rebate up to $10,000 when you buy by January 30th. Text MK to the number 989898. Claim your eligibility today. Again, just text MK to the number 989898. Thanks so much for watching. If you like what you just saw, hit the subscribe button for more clips and full episodes.